Say the word table. Say it again. Now say it 10 more times, out loud, back to back. Somewhere around repetition 7, something strange happens. The word stops sounding like a word. It becomes noise. Syllables with no meaning attached to them. For a few unsettling seconds, table means nothing at all. That's not you losing focus. That's a documented glitch in how your brain processes language. It's called semantic satiation, and it happens to everyone in ways far more common than repeating a word on purpose. Your brain is built to detect patterns instantly. The moment your eyes land on a word, a network of neurons fires, matching that shape and sound to a stored meaning. This happens so fast you never notice it happening. Say table once, and the meaning arrives before you've even finished saying it. But repetition breaks that system. Say it enough times, and the neural pathway responsible for retrieving its meaning starts to fatigue. Think of it like a muscle. Flex it once, it responds instantly. Flex it 50 times in a row, and it starts to give out. Your brain's meaning detection system works the same way. The pathway doesn't disappear. It just gets tired faster than you'd expect. The result is a word that still looks like a word, still sounds like a word, but temporarily refuses to mean anything. Psychologists have been documenting this for over a century. The effect was first described in 1907, when researchers noticed that staring at a single printed word for too long made it feel foreign. But it was psychologist Leon Jakobovits James who gave the phenomenon its name. In 1962, as part of his doctoral research, James coined the term semantic satiation to describe this exact loss of meaning through repetition. His experiments had people repeat words rapidly, then rate how strange or meaningless those words felt. The pattern held up again and again. Meaning didn't fade gradually. It dropped out fast, then came back just as fast once the repetition stopped. Here's the part that surprises most people. This isn't just a party trick with the word table. It happens with faces. It happens with your own name. It happens with entire sentences you've read too many times while studying. Researchers Smith and Klein extended this idea in 1990, showing that the same wears off with repetition pattern applies to more than just spoken words. Look at something long enough, process it enough times without a break, and the sense of recognition itself starts to slip. A familiar face can start to look like a stranger's. Your own signature can start to look like it was written by someone else. The brain isn't malfunctioning here. It's doing exactly what an efficient system should do. Constant, repeated input that never changes gets treated as less important. Why would your brain waste energy reconfirming the same meaning 50 times in a row? So it stops, briefly, on purpose in a sense. And that pause feels meaningless, even though it's actually efficient. Here's the twist that makes this stranger than it first sounds. Semantic satiation doesn't just make words feel empty. It can temporarily change how you judge them. In some experiments, after repeating a word tied to a category, people were slower or made more errors when trying to judge whether a new word belonged to that same category. Repeating meaning out of a word doesn't just make it feel odd. It briefly disrupts the mental shortcuts you use to sort and judge information. Your brain's fastest tool for understanding language quietly steps offline, just for a moment, and you don't even notice the tool is gone until you try to use it. Now think about where this actually shows up in your life. Not in a psychology lab. In your own study sessions. You've felt this without knowing its name. Late at night, rereading the same paragraph of notes for the 5th time, and suddenly the words on the page stop landing. You know how to read. You're staring right at the sentence. But it feels like it's written in a language you almost, but don't quite, understand. That's not a lack of intelligence. That's not fatigue, in the way you usually think of fatigue. That's semantic satiation, quietly switching off the exact mental pathway you need most in that moment. It's why cramming the same sentence over and over rarely works, as well as spacing your review out. Your brain isn't refusing to learn. It's temporarily worn out from processing the identical input too many times in a row without variation. The fix researchers point to is indeed very simple. Change the input. Reword the sentence. Say it differently. Take a short break. The meaning detection pathway doesn't need long to recover. It just needs a break from the exact same repeated signal. This is also why your own name can feel bizarre if you write it out 15 times in a row. Why a word in a text conversation can suddenly look misspelled even though you've spelled it correctly. Why staring at a familiar face in a photo for too long can make it look, just for a second, like someone you've never seen before. Your brain isn't broken in any of these moments. It's running an efficiency check, deciding that unchanging, repeated information doesn't deserve full processing power anymore. And once you know that, the feeling stops being unsettling and starts being kind of fascinating. Next time a word dissolves into nonsense in your mouth, or a sentence on the page refuses to mean anything, you'll know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. Your brain isn't glitching. It's pausing, recalibrating, and getting ready to snap the meaning right back into place the second something changes. Say table one more time. Feels normal again, doesn't it? And that's one more thing you now know about your own mind. Thank you for watching PsychPal, and I'll see you in the next one.